Hello YouTube, and thanks for joining me today. Welcome or welcome back if you've never been to the YouTube side and you're coming from Instagram. Hello, nice to see you here. Thank you for supporting. And if you're new here altogether and you've never seen my face before, this is awkward. Hi. And I wore my loudest earrings just to make a good first impression. But today I actually got a lot of requests to sort of do a walkthrough of how I use the app Procreate. Procreate, if you don't know, is an app that is available to purchase, and it's widely used by a lot of digital artists. I know that some of the most popular programs are Adobe Photoshop, Procreate. There's another one. Let me look it up. I know. Oh, my phone's dead. What's new? It starts with an I. I'm going to put it on the screen. If you use any of these other apps, I can't say that everything that I use is going to be able to transfer over to those, but I still want to go over my process for line art, which was one request, and coloring. So I guess we get to draw a picture today together, which is kind of cool. If you ask me, I'm excited to draw. So if you're going to draw alongside me, let's do it. It might help you get better muscle memory. It might distract from the fact that I stumble over my words and I'm not very eloquent all the time and I have a slight lisp. Or this. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't yet and you'd like to do a good deed for the day, please feel free to subscribe and hit the bell. You already know what it does. I wish when you hit the bell it went like this. You're going to hit the bell in 3, 2, 1. There you go. Good job. It's beautiful. Teamwork. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So starting off with a canvas. Now, there are a couple options here. If you're planning on doing a background, well, we're starting with line art. If you're planning on doing a background, I would recommend not having a whole entire layer. Something that I was doing, I'll say it this way. Something that I was doing at first was using an entire layer to have a background color. Don't do that. Okay, there's a couple reasons why. One, odds are that you're going to have to... So what I like to do at the end of a drawing is usually merge a lot of the layers together. And a lot of times I've accidentally merged the background color, not the background color, but the layer that I've put the background color on. I've merged that together, and then when I want to go cut in and clean different things up, instead of just hitting the erase tool and being able to erase whatever I want, it'll erase the background color too. So the first thing I'm going to do is select background color. And right now we're just working on doing a sketch and then the line art for the sketch. So I'm going to go ahead and do... I don't like drawing on all white backgrounds. It kind of fries your eyeballs. So, yeah, just for kind of a calmer, less stressful experience, I like to put in a gray background. Then I'm going to select my brush. And one of the cool things about Procreate is you can scroll Pinterest, Etsy, there's a few other sites though. I don't know if they're trusted, like exactly trusted sites. And there's some apps that you can download as well to get different brushes downloaded. For the sake of this video, I'm only going to be using brushes that come in the base package of Procreate. So, if I go to sketching, some of my favorite pencils in here, even though there's not a lot, I like the 6B pencil, I like Technical pencil, and I like Procreate pencil. We're going to go with Procreate pencil today. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm on my first layer. And if you haven't worked with layers before, this might be a good way to get started, maybe this video. Just kind of introduce you to layers. I think for the first year I used Procreate, I wasn't using layers. And when it finally clicked and I started using layers, level up. Level up, level up. Okay. So, I do things kind of funny. Not funny haha. Funny weird. I'm gonna move this. And I can't see you. Okay, that's fine. I do things kind of funny, and I kind of have like two sketch phases. So the first one, I'm gonna use a gray that is barely darker than the actual background color. And first thing I'm gonna do is figure out what I'm sketching and whether I'm using a reference or not. If you want to use a reference and want to have easy access, you can go into Actions, hit Add, hello, and then you can insert a photo. There's also a way that you can actually add in a reference photo, but I've found that just adding in a photo works fine too. In fact, that's what I always do. I don't go to the reference setting, but I like to do things the hard way, I guess. I'm not going to use a reference photo, except maybe I'll just do... I could do a sketch of me. I could. Let's try it. So, first thing I'm going to do, everyone likes to start with the circle. I'm sure y'all know that. Circle. We can't just draw one line for a circle, of course. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the length of the face down. So if this is our circle, is the back of the head. We're not drawing the circle is the whole face. The circle is just the back part of the head, the rounded part, and the face sort of sits on top. So I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, judge sort of where this circle is and the length of how my face, so it looks like the length of my face, sorry, I'm working with all the angles here. The length of my face looks like about the height of the circle plus a little more for the chin, because I got a chin. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring down circle, and we're working with an angle. You can only see, when I look up, you can only see a little bit of this side, and then everything else gets cut off. So this angle, we're going to come right down the middle part, down to the nose, down to the chin, a little extra down there at the bottom for the chin. And then we'll connect the jawline to the base of the circle. And right where the base of the circle and the jawline meet, right here, I'm going to go ahead and get an ear going. And my ear is kind of on the more narrow side and tall side. And it's okay if it's darker than the rest of the sketch. Don't worry too much about it right now. The nose line is a little higher than halfway, so I'm actually going to bring it up a little higher than that because my nose comes up at the end. And then the brow line, I would say the hairline, if this is the middle part right here, hello, if this is the middle part right here, my hairline comes about there, right when this downward slope starts happening. And I'm just going to bring my brow line following the same curve, because faces aren't flat like this. You will not see that. If you want to take a more angled approach to it, you can sort of make this V shape. But just for the first sketch, I like to just use very loose, flowy movements and then sort of add in some sharper angles later. So let's put the brow line in, put the eyes right underneath the brow line. And then the lip line is Usually it would be right between, you would see on your reference where that lip line should be if it's in between the chin and the nose. My lips are a little higher toward my nose because I do have a chin, so we're going to make them a little bit higher there. Okay, and then I like to do the neck. I like to come down the back side of the neck. Now, I see a lot of people starting their neck right here at the jawline. Really, your neck comes out from behind, if this is the circle that we're going to pick, right here, sort of this circular curve. The neck comes out from behind the ear and comes in. And then sort of slopes, as you can see, it's coming out from behind. And then you can bring the neckline down in, and then that's where the shoulder starts to form, and bring the shoulder down. On the other side, you can see from this angle, just sort of a line coming out from behind. This is not going to be a realism portrait, by the way. This is just going to be more of my style portrait. Look how bad my posture is. And then I'll loosely sketch in the clothing. Okay, so now that we have all that, the next thing I always tend to go to, I'm just going with my instinct here, okay? I'm not saying this is the right way to do it. I'm just saying that this is how I do it. I always tend to go for the nose first. So my nose has this slope on the bottom of it that I like to incorporate. And then it's got a little bit of a bump on this first part, and it has a dimple. So I'm going to make that sort of rounded there. And then incorporate the second bump. And then, of course, the bridge, where you can see is just a straight line that's going to go to this brow line right here. Don't worry too much if you're not hitting the lines, but I can see that this bump ends at my eye line. So try to keep your guidelines in mind when you're drawing. And then I can see a more prominent cheekbone on this side. It's not anything crazy. And again, this is stylized, so it's easier to sort of have some forgiveness. I'm just gonna define those lines a little bit more. And then for eyes, this is the one that might take me a couple tries. But you want to make sure that it's matching up with your angles. So this is sort of proportionate to the corners of my eyes, kind of, let's see. They've sort of got this angle to them. So if that's the angle at the end of my eye, it should come down and meet the ends of my mouth. So again, over here, this can kind of help you not draw this second eye that's supposed to be at an angle too long, too large. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the second eye in. Again, this is something that takes a lot of practice. Drawing the other eye is infamous for being very difficult to do, frustrating. The angles are not easy. The symmetry, and not everyone's eyes are symmetrical. For the sake of this video, I'm going to try and touch on it, but that could be a whole other video itself. In itself is drawing the other eye. So I have very soft angled eyes on the top, and underneath is very simple, almost almondy shape. Again, not a realism portrait. It's going to be stylized, so don't worry about it too much. But what you don't want to do here is draw this eye too small, because it is compressed. Let's see. You can see this eye almost appears taller than this one because you can see the full length of this eye. And even then, that's a little too close together. I'm telling you, draw on the other eye. It's a whole nother thing. Okay, gonna go ahead on top of this brow line. My brows sort of just, you can do really simple brows if you want. It depends on what reference you're working on. But my brows, yeah. We don't have to talk about them. But they're itty bitty. I'm going to go ahead and just erase to sculpt out the brow shape that I want there. And then try and mimic it on the other side. I like to give myself full brows and then just like, sometimes I like to draw hair and then just give myself, like, give the character a haircut with the eraser. It's really fun. Okay, let's start with that. Let's go ahead and do some lips. I've got Cupid's bow lips. Just going to do basic here. I'm not going to try and make it look exactly like my lips, again, because we're stylizing, and a really simple bottom lip. Meeting there. And I got to pick where I want to look. I usually look this way, I feel like, a lot of times. But we could try that. This is a good time at this point in the sketch to sort of darken up where you want things to be. Add some details in. Go ahead and put that top lid in. You can kind of see my nostrils on my own nose. Oh, I'm going to add that in. Here's my bangs. Sort of face framing. Don't worry too much about details. Just start to tell where things are. Gonna pronounce the chin a little bit more. Give a little under eye bag. Some bottom lashes, the hints of bottom lashes. Don't worry too much about details again. I'm just going to go ahead and shade the pupils in so that, yeah, because see, look how silly that looks. Looks wild. This needs to be way thinner. Okay, it's something. I'm going to go ahead and sketch in just the lazy version of an ear. And we can do my hair, which is pinned right here. I don't like to follow exactly that curve, the circle that we did earlier. I come above it because the curve represents the scalp for me. So I would like to have the hair sit, and this is the middle part, and then come in where that hair is parted to show it's coming out of the scalp, and then sort of make it come back out there. And it is pinned all the way back there. In the back, it is wild. Okay. At this point, some things are looking funny to me. So this needs to come in a little closer here, and this needs to start a little lower. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all that. This needs to come lower. I'm actually thinking about Gonna get rid of some of those lines that are distracting me. Thinking about changing the angle of this a little bit. Just because it's looking a little crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and make her a little more side facing. And because it's not a realism portrait, the neck doesn't have to be as thick as real life. Alright, I'm gonna go throw some hair in here and hopefully it's starting to look a little cuter. Yeah, it looks better. Okay, so once we have a good base sketch, you're gonna want to do another sketch layer. This time, oh, I have to sneeze. This time I'm gonna darken it up as we would for line art, but this is not the line art layer. This is finalizing. Oh, did I do a new layer? Yeah. This is finalizing your sketch, and it's going to give you a lot easier time when you go to do your line art. So make sure when you're doing this sketch that you are placing everything where you really want it to be. That's why party time was over. You had your chance to be wild and sketch, and now it's time to be serious. Time to be for real. So there's the edge of the hair. Have some hair peeking out from behind there. There's where we want the face. Some people would consider this line art, but I don't. Not exactly. This is more like telling myself what I... It's almost like autocorrect. It's like, did you mean this? Oh, you put an eye here. Did you mean... Okay, I'm just gonna... I don't love those pupils, I'm not gonna lie. Something about them is... I actually kind of liked that one. No, that's not it. I want to make sure to get it right on the second sketch. Now I like that one more than this one. I'm gonna go back in. It's torture. It is torture. Okay. It's okay. Maybe we'll come back and do a final look. All right, there's the bump of the nose. Little shadow of a nostril there. There's this bump, there's that bump. Cupid's bow. Really not happy with the eye work. I feel like it's too angled. And this is your time to fix it. Because what you do on this layer is going to affect your entire drawing. I don't know why, but I like to draw like 3 spiky bottom lashes for my portraits. I don't know why. I think it's too heavy on the outer lid, and my eyes kind of have more upward angle here. We'll redo the pupil while I'm at it. No. Close, but no. It's definitely not supposed to go that far over. Okay, I think that that's where the pupil should be. Okay, I think that's pretty cute. Okay, let me finish up the neck here. I'll just do a simple sketch in for the shirt. I'm okay if that shirt gets a little messy because it's not the focal point. Sketch in the hairline. Okay. So I think at this point I've gotten everything sketched in that I want to bring over to the next step, which would be line art and coloring. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna get rid of the sketch completely because I don't know if I got everything yet. So I'm just gonna hit the check mark. Looks pretty scribbly. Isn't that funny? Sometimes I'll leave the sketch there in the back and sometimes I'll take it away, but I'm going to take it away. So next thing I do is I open another layer and I start with my brush. And I think for today to do some line art, let's see. I really like, what's it in? Inking? Syrup. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and do syrup. but I want to go with filling in all the dark spots first before I like start tracing all of the different elements. I want to just fill in the big spots of dark first. And then I'll go back in. This is like way too big. I need to take the size down when I'm actually doing the line art part. Another good tip for Procreate is when you hold down after you've done a okay, well that one didn't work. If you just continue to hold your pencil down, Procreate will sort of assume the shape that you might have wanted to draw there and sort of smooth it out and make it sometimes a better version of what you were trying to draw in the first place. Okay. Another cool way to fill in large amounts of the same color, might not be a shocker, but the drag and fill tool, like, you should be utilizing that. It's going to save you so much time, and honestly, you can get a lot of contrast out of your work that way. Sometimes for these ones, I like to do little circles and sort of like to sketch in where shadows are going to be for the color job. Okay. And let me just finish up the chin. Ooh. See, that smoothed that chin out pretty well. And I think I need to do the top of this still. I don't get too detailed with line art that I know I'm going to be coloring. Okay, there's going to be shadow under the neck, that's for sure. I like to put in shadow on top of the collarbones. I also have piercings, so I'm going to put my piercings in really quick to make it feel more like me. There's going to be shadow on this part of the face under the brow, here under the brow, under the whole part of the nose. Yeah. I actually like to do this on the same layer, but I'm going to go ahead and take... Well, no, I'll just leave them because we're going to color it. I forgot we're coloring it. No. Okay, so once you're happy with just sort of some basic line work, it's messy, it's not anything wonderful yet. You can try and hide that base layer, and it's looking funky, but we're going to color it, so it's nice to have it as simple as possible. If you ever feel like you don't know what your drawing looks like anymore, you can always just go back through and put your sketches back and go, oh yeah, okay, that's where certain shadows should be, etc. Oh, just took the background color off. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and
looks like I missed a couple little things, like the nostril. And this comes in here. Go ahead and erase that. Go ahead and pull your sketch up if you need to. Not that one. That one. Yeah, we got a lot bigger with the eyes. So it's good to keep your old sketches because then you can see like, oh, what did I do on this one that I don't like on this version? Like, I think this got a little too swoopy in this version. I do like to separate the bottom lashes from time to time too. For now, I think it looks good. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and work on the same layer for color as I did the line arts. I don't know if that's proper, but that's what I do because when I start to get too many layers, my brain starts to... So I'm going to go ahead and... My hair is very dark brown, and you can see actually some blue in it because of the shadows of it. So blue and brown sort of makes this purpley tone. So for the highlights, I'm going to make those a light lavender purple because I'm looking at my face now and I see some lavendery purples. So at the high points of the light, which I believe is coming from this way, I'm going to go ahead and throw in just a few messy highlights. And then since we do have that purple on as our highlight color, and that means blue is sort of, we have a cool tone light. One of the first things I like to do when I am coloring something is I like to decide whether I'm going with warm tones or cool tones. Warm tones can be any color, but just the warmer variety of it. So if you look at the color wheel, you've got pink right in the middle, and when you navigate towards the blue, you've got more of a cool tone magenta pink, and when you navigate more toward the red, you have a peachier pink. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, guys. Like, color theory. Okay, so if my skin is this pale white pasty color, when I have blue light on it, you can almost see this pale yellowy paired against the blue. Somewhere in between, you have this green that you can almost see these green tones. So what I'm going to do is navigate toward the the cooler side. Yeah, the cooler side because it's a blue. Yeah, sorry. The cooler side of green, and sort of hit the highlighted areas, which would be the nose. The edge of this face, I always like to throw in a little reflective light. This ear is going to have some light on it. Bottom of the neck, collarbone, the front of this collarbone, reflective light on the neck, reflective light on this. And then for our shadow color, I'll go the opposite. So the highlight's on this side, so the shadow color will be sort of this warm peachy red. I think that'll look good. The reason I'm doing on the same layer is so when I go over to do all the shading and stuff, I can just go right over. And I know you could do this in a different, if you had a whole new layer over it too, but I like to just completely get rid of that shadow line. Okay, and then I'm gonna put some shadow under here. Oh my battery's gonna die. Shadow, shadow. And my lips are gonna be dark. We'll throw some highlights on them later. Okay, remember we circled this shadow down here. We circled this shadow under the neck. And who are we kidding? Because this jaw is going to be shadowed too.
See, now it looks like we almost have a skin tone in and of itself, especially if we zoom out. It looks like I've already colored the skin.
So now I'm just going to take a slightly warm, neutral, peachy color, sort of fill in the blanks.
Okay.
Now that I have the skin tone on, you can add blush, makeup, whatever colors you're wanting to do. I'm going to size this up and then take the opacity way down because I do want the colors of what's underneath to still show. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some blush on. And then I might also grab the shadow color with a lower opacity and sort of hit a few areas and blend them in because I don't want them looking so harsh, although that is kind of a cool pop art type style. I do just want to blend them in a little bit more. And I like to do that by taking the same color, the same brush, whatever you're using, and cut your opacity in half and blend that out. I'm also throwing a heavier shadow on this side of the face. Then also do the same thing with your highlight color. Make sure your opacity is cut in half at least. And I'll add a really nice glow. Also, the whites of the eyeballs are going to pick up whatever your reflection color is, so make sure to throw in some of your highlight color into your eyeballs. If the light source is direct enough or behind the subject at all, I do like to throw that highlight color on top of the hair a little bit to find the part with the highlight color. Grab this purple, blend your purple out. See, in this way I didn't actually have to draw the hair. I didn't have to do any hair line art. I'm simply adding highlights and lowlights. And that might not be everybody's style, and that's okay. But it works for me, I feel like. Okay, now I'm going to go back in full opacity with this black and define a couple lines that I want to stand out. Not all the nose lines. I kind of like that some of them disappear. But the lip lines need a little more definition. The shape of the eyeballs, or the pupils rather, I would like to be consistent. The eye line I like to be sharp, defined. The eyes are going to be the most obvious part. I won't make the waterline any darker, but these kind of signature bottom lashes that I like to do lately, we'll define those. We will allow it today. Okay, and like this brow got kind of lost, and it should be pretty dark. Go ahead and give myself a little brow trim again. Sometimes I like to take the opacity down on whatever the main skin color is and sort of cut in that the brows aren't just blobs on the face. Kind of give a little illusion that there's hairs there. Sometimes. We'll see. Okay, now this part's fun because you might not remember, but we used a gray background. So that means that when we put any kind of white on this, it's really going to stand out. So I'm going to go ahead and take white and put it only on the bottom part of the eyes, because that top part is going to have shadow. And also take the white and just on the end of the nose, do a little bit of a highlight on some of the lips, a little bit of a highlight. I don't know why, but I like to put a little bit on the ear as well. And if they have jewelry, go ahead and put some sparkles on the jewelry. Sometimes I'll even run a thin white line along the jawline. I don't know if I like that here though. Maybe. I'll throw it in on top of the hair on the highlighted sections. Maybe even block out some of this to make it really look like the light's hitting it. A little bit on the waterline here. Accentuate this bump a little bit more. Nostril. Inner corner. You can also put a highlight there on the eye. I don't like to do too much white highlight in the hair. Kind of want to make the lips a little bit darker. I think I'm going to take the opacity down on the lips and just hit the bottom lip. It's not very good. Define this nostril a little bit better. I want to shade it darker where the nose is casting a shadow on this part of the face versus where it's not. I'm going to grab more of this dark purpley. Add in a few details on top, and then I'll have to do the shirt color and we'll take a look-see at what we're looking at. All right, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw a shirt color on. Something that doesn't clash too much with the rest, maybe like a and it kind of washes it out. Maybe let's just do black, just to keep it simple. But yeah, from this point, honestly, you could take the brush tool if you liked the style of it. You could take the brush tool and blend it out, but honestly, I kind of like to leave it like that. So I hope that that little walkthrough was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure if you spent more time on the sketch and making sure everything lined up perfectly and that your anatomy was how you wanted it, I could have come up with something a little bit more. But this was just a quick video to show you some of the techniques that I use, and they can change sort of depending on what brush I'm using. Some of the brushes already have a half opacity level. Am I pronouncing that right? Opacity? But anyway, that's just a really quick look at how I like to sort of use my process of sketching to line art to coloring. And just depending on the style, I'll take that smudge tool and sort of smudge everything together and then define the details. But lately I've been liking everything to look a little more choppy or rough, not have such smooth edges and have everything be rounded. I really like the working some more angles into there. But I hope you enjoyed. I want to see what you made, what you drew. So if you're on Instagram and you want to show me what you were able to come up with, maybe before and after, to see if this little tutorial walkthrough type thing helped you at all, I would love to see anything you'd want to post regarding that on Instagram. You can use the hashtag SNW YouTube, and I'd love to see it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, make sure that you follow my socials. They're going to be in my description box below. I stream on Twitch. I do live drawings on Instagram and on Twitch, and I hope you all have a really good day, and bye!